welcome back to my channel and welcome to today's video, which is going to be a full face trying out new drugstore makeup. Now I'm going to be diving in with the e.l.f. Poreless Putty. Like I said, whatever is not new, I will still be using drugstore. So I'm going to be applying this, which we all know how it looks like. Now taking my Juno & Co sponge and my foundation, which I have in light neutral, and again this is a CoverGirl foundation, I'm going to be applying these on the face and see.
Next level.
Now I will say that this is definitely a medium coverage foundation, but if you apply another coat, it can definitely give you that full coverage. It reminds me a lot of the NYX Can't Stop Won't Stop foundation. You guys know this is my holy grail, but like that blend, that first application, it literally feels just like this foundation. I am going to do a second coat just to see how much I need to get that, you know, good coverage that I like. So I'm going to do one more coat.
Next level.
Okay, now that that second coverage is done, I definitely feel like it reminds me a lot of this foundation. It is a tad bit dark for my liking. I just feel like it's a little too orange. I can definitely fix it with concealer, I feel, and the coverage is very good. Once I applied that second coat, you know, the matte finish, the full coverage is there. It doesn't feel heavy on the skin, which I personally really like. So that's definitely a good one. I am liking it so far. Now again, I'm a little bit iffy on the color, and also because this was like the fourth lightest shade. It's light neutral, so I definitely thought that this was going to be a little too light for me. And honestly, it kind of looks a little too dark, but I would definitely say it's probably a foundation that will fit me perfectly in the summer, and I'm going to keep it, and yeah, I will keep trying it out. Now I'm going to go ahead and apply my concealer, which is a Rimmel Stay Matte concealer in Vanilla. This is a soft matte concealer. I'm actually very excited to try this one. Okay guys, right off the bat, this concealer, based on my first impression, it is definitely not a soft matte look. For me, it's more like a luminous, dewy concealer. So if you have very dry under eyes, you might like this concealer. It is also not full coverage at all. It says it right here on the bottle, full coverage, not full coverage. So I'm going to go ahead and apply a second coat. I can say that I'm not one to apply 2 coats of concealer, especially in my under eyes, but for giving this concealer a try, I am going to do that and see, hope for the best. Okay, this definitely feels like a sheer concealer with like a hint of color, and it's dewy. It looks dewy in my under eyes. It definitely doesn't look full coverage. It does look a little bit more bright underneath, and that's because I applied 2 coats, not so much because this has coverage. So this would definitely be a no-go for me. I will try it out again just with a different foundation and see how I like it then, but as of right now, this is definitely, I know, a concealer that is not my cup of tea. I can see that it kind of lifted my foundation from this area. Not something I like. It also just looks like I no longer have coverage under my eyes at all, which again is not something that I like. I'm going to go ahead and set my foundation and just set it as it is. I was going to apply a different concealer, but I'm just gonna leave it as it is and go ahead and with my Maybelline Fit Me Loose Finishing Powder in the shade 05 Claire. No, wait, Fair. And I'm gonna use this and again set it with my sponge. Now I'm going to go ahead and bronze my skin to give myself a little more color again since I powdered up my whole face. And I'm trying out this Wet n Wild Color Icon bronzer, and this is new. It's in the color Sunset Striptease. Now, if I'm totally honest, I was like looking over these because I thought they had shimmer, but they really don't. Like looking like up close, they literally have no sparkle. So hopefully this is a good color for me. They have 3 other shades, so in total they have 4. And I'm going to apply it with my Real Techniques contour brush. This is a very nice light bronzer in the sense that it's buildable. It's more buildable than like crazy why can't I speak today? Crazy pigmented, which I personally prefer these type of bronzers. You have the choice on how much you want to apply and how much you want to build it up, how quickly or how, you know, slowly you want to build it up, which I personally like. I definitely like, I just dip it like this and it's not crazy pigmented to where you have the full pigment color, but you can see you do get the color on your skin, and I really like that. Now I'm going to go ahead and apply my blush. I am going to be using this new Profusion blush palette. It's a 6-shade blush palette and the name just says blush. I think they had another one. I'm not too sure, but I think they had like a darker one. This is definitely the lighter one. This shade right here called Sweetheart reminds me a lot of the NARS Orgasm blush, which, I mean, that's pretty cool. This one down here, Popular, these two are my favorite, and this one right here. I think I'm going to be mixing these two right here, but I'm so excited to try these out because I've been wanting to try Profusion for a while. So I'm going to be going in with these two. And I am going to be applying mine with the stippling brush. I personally love applying blush with a stippling brush because, I don't know, I feel like it just gives such a nice blend and application. Ooh, that's a pretty color. I'm going to go ahead and do my brows so that we can come back and do eyes and then highlight at the end because that's the most exciting part and I like to leave it to the end so that I can be like. Now as you can see, I already did this eye. The makeup on this eye, I'm so lost. I'm going to be using the Sienna's palette from Profusion. I have been searching for this palette for the longest. As soon as I saw it, I clearly knew that I wanted to try it out, but it's always been sold out at the Target near me, and I've been to a couple other ones and they just don't have it. So when I went the other day and I saw it, I was like, yes, this is mine. It's only $10, and just based off doing my eye makeup on this eye already, I can tell you that I am pretty impressed. I honestly was a little bit of like skeptical on if these products were going to work from this brand. I was like, oh, the shadows aren't even going to be that good. Honestly, they are much better than a lot of other like little palettes that I've tried from the drugstore, with the exception of the Wet n Wild ones. Like, I'm pretty shook. And this is a palette. I'm going to start off with this color right here, which I love that they included a cream shade in the shade Polite. In the name Polite, or it is the shade Polite. And I'm going to apply it all over my lid as my base color, just so it can all be the same. And I am going to be using, the brush from this palette, which also, it feels super light and like cheap, but it's one of the only brushes I use to do this look, so I was pretty shook. I'm going to start off with the color Dynasty, which is this really pretty orange one right here. And I'm going to apply that in the crease and blend it upward. And this is going to serve as our transition shade. And I was pretty impressed with the amount of pigmentation these shadows have. I honestly thought they were going to be a lot harder to work with, and that I would have to pack and pack and pack a lot of color. And I really don't feel like I have to pack that much. And, you know, to get a really good pigmented application and look. It's also not colors that once you blend them together, they get blotchy or splatchy or anything like that, which personally I love. Now, of course, I have to use this color called Serendipity, and it's this really beautiful yellow shade. I know how annoying yellow shades can be. I mean, not to make or anything, but I have a lot of palettes with yellow shades, and I can honestly go ahead and say this is probably one of the best ones I have tried from the drugstore that actually have that intense pigmentation and that they blend beautifully without like just blending away to nothing. Like, that color actually sticks to your eye. It actually stays there very pigmented, and you guys saw that's my first application. If I continue to pack on more color, it will be very, very intensely yellow, which is freaking amazing for a drugstore palette of only $10. Like, this is the best $10 I have spent at the drugstore thus far, honestly. I am so impressed, and I am so shook at how good these work. Now I'm going to go in with the color Oasis, and again, I'm just going to pack it on the crease and blend it upwards. And I am only literally using this brush and my little Real Techniques brush that I like to use to blend everything together. And it's actually working really, really good. And I always like to tell you guys, like, you don't have to use the most expensive brushes to get, you know, such a pretty look or to get a blended look. I definitely recommend you just take your time blending and you really practice your blending, and that's what's going to give you a good blended look. It's not necessarily has to be like a brush that's $30 or a MAC brush that's like $25 for a blending brush. I have that brush. I have that MAC 217, and like this brush right here, this Profusion brush that literally feels lighter than air, is working so good to doing this whole look. And of course, I am going in with a shade Devoted, because if I look at this palette, those three shades, Serendipity, Dynasty, and Devoted, are the shades that like jump out at me and that I wanted to use right away, which I know it's literally the same thing that I always do, but I mean, do you guys see that pigmentation? Like, I barely patted the shade on there, and I promise I will try and have different color looks. But literally, I've been looking for this palette for the longest, for those colors. So, I mean, I had to take advantage and do a look. I'm going to add a little bit of Madly, which is this shade. It's a little bit more like brick red tone. More red, definitely, than Devoted. Devoted is more of a cranberry berry shade. And this is just going to deepen it up a little and give us a little more, you know, smokiness, I would say. Then again, just always going in with this brush. This brush, I don't add anything else to it, any more color. I just use it to blend. And as I'm blending, it picks up, you know, a little bit of color. So this is the NYX Glitter Goals liquid eyeshadow, and it's in the color Mid Tropical. So I'm going to apply, I would say the consistency of this one is definitely super watery, and based off my application on the other side, it definitely picks up product. And it takes a while, like a long while to dry, which is the only thing that I don't like. And then if it's not dry completely and you open your eye, it will like crease and it will become patchy, which I mean I don't like that. So I'm just going to go ahead and do the same thing I did on this side and set it with a shadow in this palette called Dizzy, which is this pretty pink one right here. It's very similar to the shade of the liquid shadow. I would say it's just in like powder shadow form, but it's really pretty and it sets the liquid shadow perfectly. Guys, I was totally doing my makeup, finishing off my lips, and I forgot to push record. I did only line my lips with the Italia lip liner, and this is in deep purple. This is a very inexpensive lip liner. I think it's $2. And then since this is available at Target, which Target carries drugstore makeup, I am going to be wearing the Violet Voss liquid lipstick in the color Vanity because I wanted something more dark, more vampy. I've been doing like mauvey neutral lips lately and I need a little pizzazz in my life, so we're going to be using this one. Now, to finish off this whole look, now it became like a very sexy, vampy look with these lips, but I'm all about it. I'm going to be using this new CoverGirl True Blend Super Stunner palette, and this is in the shade, doesn't have a shade name, does it? I think that's the shade. Oh, it's number 500. I don't know the exact name of the palette, but it's this highlighter palette, which is beautiful. Like, this caught my attention in the store. I was like, yes, girl, I need to try it. Now, I don't know what color. I think I'm going to go in with this last one because it looks really pretty. Oh, I'm so excited. And that's the finished look. What do you guys think? This highlighter has me shook. So I can say everything that I tried, I'm obsessed with the exception of two things. So this Profusion palette, I recommend it 100%. I am so freaking impressed in how good this worked out. The pigmentation, the blendability, like the brush. Like, that brush is actually a good freaking brush. And it's only $10. This blush palette is going to be what I'm going to be using for a while because it has a lot of different shades, 6, and it's really pretty. Blends beautifully. Bronzer, I'm obsessed with it. And this highlighter palette, oh, guys, this is everything and more. And now I want to pick up the other one because it was really pretty, and yeah, I'm obsessed. Foundation, I'm definitely going to continue to use it. Okay, the concealer, I'm definitely going to pass this on to maybe my mom because I just did not like it. It did not work out for me. It claims to be full coverage. This is not even close to full coverage in my opinion. Let me know if you've tried it and you feel differently about it, but for me, it did not have any coverage, like any real good coverage. And lastly, this one, the glitter liquid eyeshadow from NYX, I think I will continue to use it. I kind of like applied it with a brush and I feel like I like the application better when I applied it with the brush on this eye. So I'm definitely going to continue to try and work it out. So yeah, this makeup, I'm so happy with it. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. let me know what other new drugstore products that are coming out you guys would like me to try out, so I can write them down, because sometimes I go to the store and I forget like what's the new products or what products to try out. So yeah, I would appreciate your guys' help with that. Thank you guys so much for watching again, and like always, I will see you all in my next video. Bye.